Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Libby.
Hello, Lisa.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay.
Okay. So, what do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I really would like to fix my new leasing contract within maybe it's not a 1 week. I still have 1 month more, 1.5 months. But I
Okay.
need starting to evaluate some of the new apartments.
Evaluating new apartments. Okay.
And of course, within 1 month, maybe make the leasing done will be more ideal.
Okay. Okay. So your contract was ending in 1.5 months,
Yes, August, the end of August.
end of August. Okay.
Hmm.
And you have no option to renew it. You'd need to find a new apartment.
I can, but I don't want to.
Okay.
I want to change a place
Why do you not want to renew it?
because this apartment is very close to Hot. And
Mhm.
that the only reason I rent here is because of the location. But actually, it's without furniture as well. I don't enjoy too much with this, the space and the room. And the facility is good, but I think without study, I don't need to stay here any longer. And also, the cost, it's not a cost effective.
Okay. And where would you rather live?
Where what?
Where would you rather live?
I don't have clear idea. I just want to be convenient location, like can be easily arrive the subway station,
Hmm.
better in Green Line or Red Line. Yeah.
Okay, so location is your top priority when it comes to looking for a new place.
Yes.
Okay, okay, and you need this new place by the end of August, so you definitely need to start looking in the coming days or week.
Yes. Already scheduled one visiting to place
Oh,
in
great.
Highland. Yes, in Newton.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
And how did you find this place?
I find it from Facebook. Some renting group. They have this marketing um, advertisement.
Okay, and when is this meeting scheduled?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, okay. Did you find any other apartments in this group that looked good to you?
Not yet. I didn't. I just start searching.
Okay, okay. Do you first want to go and view this one apartment, or do you already want to look for other ones that other viewing appointments that you can schedule?
Yeah, I will have a look at this one, and I will have an idea whether this location is good or the neighborhood is good, and
Okay,
then I can have some benchmark to search further.
okay. Are there any other locations that you like in Boston? What are your favorite locations that you would like to live most?
Yeah, I have one option like a Harvard Square because my previous boyfriend, it's not a short-term boyfriend, he offered me like I can stay with her current apartment with one available room. But I think it's too complicated for both our relationship before and nowadays. So I
Mhm.
turned this option down, but the location is good. I mean, the area is very good, Harvard Square, but the leasing is not that. It's quite similar as Hot area, or even a little bit expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, but I I don't know. It's not necessarily to live in that area.
Okay, so you want a place and a lease that is easy and uncomplicated without any, relationships tied to the whole place.
Yeah, it's better with the strangers.
Understand. Okay, okay. What are some other, have you looked at any other apartments anywhere else, or is this the first one that you've looked
Yeah, it will be the first one
at?
started. Mhm.
And do you have any other channels or places you can look apart from this one Facebook group?
Yeah, I trying to collect those channels. At this moment, I will pay attention to those social medias. Some friends mentioned some markets or house markets or those kind of groups. So I've already collected like 5.
Okay, 5. Oh, that sounds like pretty good
Yeah.
number. So 5 different groups basically on social media, or?
Yes. In a different private, like housing markets.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And have you had the time to go through those groups?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Um, all right. Um, and why have you not taken the time, you think?
I maybe think it's not that first priority in my life. I still have studies, still have some of part-time consulting work, and also my body doesn't feel well these days. So yeah, I'd rather start from tomorrow and maybe fully will be finished this module E, starting this search and focus on this searching more. Mm.
Okay. So module E is finished on Friday, right? Or on the
Okay.
21st?
A lot of Sunday, yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of assignments to do still.
Okay. So do you think that as of Sunday or say Monday you'll have more time, or how is your week looking?
Yeah, hopefully yes.
More time for the job for the apartment search as of Monday.
Yeah.
And what have you done in the past, say where you lived before Boston, to find an apartment?
Uh, I friend I stay with friends, or I have my own apartment, or I search and I will check one by one. Yeah, that's the pretty 3 situations normally.
Okay, and when you said you searched, where did you search?
Online, website, and some social media.
Okay. Was this in China or in the US?
In China. In
Okay.
US, I normally stay with a friend, or
Oh,
we have Airbnb, or we have yeah, friends normally.
okay, okay, okay. But for now, you want your own apartment. It wouldn't be an option for you to stay with friends again?
I have some friends who invited me to live together, but again, I prefer, yeah, different people or have different connections, like a stranger people, new friends.
Okay. And these sites you used in China, like what kind of sites were these?
What kind of sites?
Hmm.
In China, I think it's not applicable here. So I even because very long time I didn't have this rental arrangements, so I barely forgot, I think.
Okay.
Mm.
Were they maybe like search sites like Craigslist or something like that, where you can search what you're looking for and it
Yeah,
shows?
we have this domain, this kind of a vertical website, different vertical website. You can buy house, you can rent house. Yeah, those kind of major players in the market. So we just get into the website or app, and we just put our budget, put our location preferred, and put our uh, size, and they will give you a bunch of listed, and you just talk to the agent, or you talk to the landlord, and you just take a look at the facility, and you will decide.
So like a Google for apartments, kind of, or like a.
Yeah, kind of things, but it's like a vertical industry website.
What do you mean with vertical?
Like we have Anjuku, we have different web. They only do this rental of the housing, only do uh, purchasing, rental, only about housing, apartments. Mhm.
Okay, okay. So ideally, it would be for you to find something like this in the US.
I don't think so. I've already have 5 channels. So the social media, like they have the different housing markets. This
Okay.
is a different way because that's a long time ago for me in China to rent. And nowadays we also have this kind of social media market
Okay.
as well. So vertical industry, vertical websites will be one of the option, but
Mhm.
my style is not looking too many options. I don't like that. I
Okay.
don't have too many time to consume on that. And
Okay.
I'm not that picky. So maybe I will list like 3, 5. I will just check several and I can make my decision.
Okay, so you'd rather focus on a few, just social media channels to look.
Yes. Yes.
Great. All right, so you already have these social media channels. You already know which ones you want to look at.
Yeah.
So what's the next step?
I may need some overall comparison in different districts. What's the pro and cons?
Hmm.
And how about the neighborhood? I can collect those information for my high level targeting for which area I better to consider more.
Mhm.
This information will be helpful to me. And
Mhm.
also, yeah, I will shortlist some of the um, houses within my budget, and I will schedule the meeting with the agent or landlord.
Okay, so you have your channels, you have your budget, roundabout that you're looking at, I presume.
Huh?
You have your budget,
Yes.
you know roundabout what your budget is. You already know which channels. So you mentioned Harvard Square that you like that. Apart from Harvard Square, what other areas of Boston do you like most?
Because the next half year at least, I will not buy my own car. That's my
Mhm.
plan. So I will rather stay in some area close to downtown, not that far. Because my current job opportunity is in Back Bay, so Green Line will be a very good option. Either south or north side of the city will be also okay.
Mm.
Cannot too far, like within 1 hour commute or even shorter, like 45 minutes or half hour commute will be ideal. And I know the winter is coming. If it's too long time walking to the station, will be not that good.
Okay, so proximity to the Green Line is the most important factor,
At
basically.
this moment, yes. But if I have some other promising job opportunities, it's not in Green Line, I will adjust my plan. So it seems, yeah, need to be dynamic.
Okay, but because you're not sure exactly where you're going to be working, right now it's very important for you to stay kind of central so you could reach any work location
Yes,
rather
yes,
easily for now. Okay,
yes.
understood. So downtown, Harvard Square, um, is there any other, you know,
Newton is one of the option. Newton or Quincy. Quincy is for like a south area of the Boston. So, but Quincy, I don't know whether it's safe. So I need to do
mhm.
some research.
Okay,
Yeah,
how,
security is one of the priority as well. Besides the yeah, location equal to neighborhood and security, and also yeah, the
okay, okay.
features.
How can you find out whether Quincy is safe? What do you think is the best way to figure out?
I will chatting with some friends who live in there as
Mhm.
well. Check on online
Mhm.
to see the criminal rates of
Mhm.
each areas, and also I think I can be I will take some visits and to feel myself.
Yes, I think that's a really good idea. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's important to see how you feel in an area. Okay, so basically what I have is we have a few areas that you're looking at: Newton, Quincy, Harvard Square, downtown. But you first, before you pick one of these areas or a few of these, you want to get a feeling for how safe is it and how good do you feel in this area and could you imagine living there? And then depending on that, you're going to look at apartments on these few media channels, social media channels that you're
Yeah. Yes.
okay. So what would be the first step for you next week when you can really start getting into this apartment search?
I need a shortlist the potential apartment I would like to take a visit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So first look at the apartments. And do you know people that live in these areas that we've listed?
Yeah, I will. I will. It's in parallel. I would check with some other friends who's living in the Quincy. Yeah, I have in mind Alex, who's my church friend,
Mhm.
and I will check with him as well. And Newton, I know some friends also live in Newton. I will check with them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's always good to ask friends or people and tell them that you're looking, because sometimes, from my experience, things can just pop up all of a
Yeah,
sudden. And then
yeah, very good idea. Yes, I will do so.
um, okay, that sounds good. So your first step next week would be to speak to your friends that live in these places. Keep looking on the social media channels, and also maybe if you get a chance to visit these areas and neighborhoods.
Yeah,
So then you can keep refining your search.
yes.
Okay. Um, when do you think you would have time to visit some of these places?
Starting from next week.
Okay. Do you work next week?
Yeah, I need to go to my internship company.
Okay.
Mm.
And how long or how many days next week, or which days?
It depends. It's negotiable. I will discuss with them for a plan for
Oh,
how long I need to stay. But since I cannot get any pay from them because my it's a little bit diploma, I signed another internship company who cannot give me pay, and this company would like to give me pay.
hmm.
I cannot shift to them. So it turns out I cannot get any pay from this company who would like to give me pay
Oh,
because my visa, my CPT issue, because it's not with them. So literally, I cannot be there so official.
okay.
I'm not requested to be. I only can start my real work starting from October 1st if I get this OPT approved.
Yes.
So I'm quite flexible to work remotely or time by time, maybe twice a week or three times a week. I visited the company and to have some meetings.
Okay.
So quite flexible for my job searching further or the apartment searching as well.
That's good. That's good. So you can base your internship days around your job and apartment search. And um, all right. So would starting on Monday sound good to you with the apartment search?
Yeah, yeah, I can do so. Yeah, I would like to start earlier.
Okay. And would you prefer going by yourself, or maybe meeting these friends that you know in these areas, and maybe
Yeah, this is really, yeah, for safety, yeah, better to let someone accompany with me if they are available. Yeah, you're good reminding. I will ask my best friend Xiaojing to see whether she's available.
yeah,
Mhm.
or maybe even in the evening, one of the
Yeah,
friends you know that lives there, maybe you can meet them for a drink or dinner in these neighborhoods, and then you get a
okay.
bit of feel, you can walk around a bit.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, we'll think about this.
And how many places would you ideally like to view next week?
Three or five, three maybe at most. I don't have so many time. Three.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So viewing three
Oh,
places.
my plan is shortlist three or five,
Okay.
and schedule one or two visits. Yeah,
Okay. Schedule one or two visits and
yeah,
shortlist 3 to 5.
three or five. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
And further get an idea of which would be your ideal neighborhoods, right?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So does that sound like a good action plan for next week?
Yes. Very solid plan. Thank you so much.
And could you already reach out to these friends now before?
Yeah, I can check with them, but I need to find the. Yes, you're right. Check their neighborhood and the safety, right? I can at least. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And perhaps also see when they are available that week, so you could
Mm-hmm.
them even.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you feel that you can do right now to, make this apartment search process ideal for you? Or
No, I think it's pretty good now. Yeah.
okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I look forward to hearing how it's going next week.
Okay, I will keep you updated. Thank you so much, Lisa. Okay, feedback. Are you still awake?
I'm over here. I was typing it the whole time, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really like. So two things. One, you're really empathetic in your coaching. And that's one of the things I think is one of your strongest things is that you have a lot of empathy in your coaching. You really are focused on how they are feeling when it comes to like their thoughts and process. And it shows up a lot because multiple times throughout your role, you did make a couple of summarizations. But to start, you just started off with the easiest questions. What are you what are you looking for? What do you want to talk about? Where do you want to live? And then there are a few questions that I do have concern over. Um, One was what sites did you use? So she said that the sites that you were using were focused on only in China, and that they wouldn't be any use to her in the States. But you spent about a good 5 to 7 minutes going over the sites she used in China to search for her homes that she already said weren't available here in the States. And so focusing in on like what you're talking about in these conversations can really help with like focusing your coachee on like their thought process, but then also time management too. Just because on another occasion, you did ask what did she use the sites in China for? And she said that she used those for finding homes at the beginning, like right before that. But again, you spent another 2 minutes asking her that question, which brought like really no purpose to the overall conversation of finding a house here in the States. But you were more so focused on like her emotions and her feelings of her housing process. And I can see the reasoning why you wanted to know what type of sites she used, but because she said that those sites weren't of any use to her in the U.S., it would have been more focused to go on like what can she use here in the States.
I was thinking that maybe she would be like, oh, maybe there's a site like that in the US that I can use, Like,
Yeah, well, then an easier question to do that would be: are there any sites like that in the U.S. that you can use
yeah,
instead of using another 3 to 5 minutes
yeah.
going over what sites you used in China?
Mm.
Um, Another one, like I said, it's all about focus. Just because, like I said, you're very empathetic, so you want to explore the whole want to do when you have things you want to do. And so when thinking about that, you want to make sure that like you're very focused and formulated on how you're spending your time with your coachee. Another example of this would be just like what do you know any people that live in these areas? When she was talking about like going to Quincy and Harvard Square, but she had stated that she talked to people who lived in that area and asked them about what was going on. So again, you had her go over for another minute or 2 minutes about something that she had already explained.
Mm.
Uh, my biggest feedback on this would be just when your coachee is like giving you information to take due note of that, so that way you don't ask questions that the coachee has already answered previously, and then making sure you know what direction you're going in when you're like actually utilizing those questions. Because if you can ask it a simpler way, just do it that way instead of going through long roundabout track. Instead
Mhm.
of saying, here's what sites did you use in China, you can just ask what sites did you use in the States,
Mhm.
because that's where her focus is at.
Yeah, I was trying to, because last class he said, like, don't give them the options, like, ask them about the past and the reality, and then hopefully they'll come up with the options themselves. So I was kind of
That's
trying to do that, but like,
That's totally fine, but it's another thing when your coachee says that the things that I used in the past won't help me in the future.
mm,
Then there's no point in you going back there. You know what I'm saying? If
mm,
your coachee says these sites no longer work in this country, then
yeah,
there's no point in going on what did she do in another country for another country's, housing market. Just
mm,
focus solely on what she's doing here in the States to
yeah,
give you that, because otherwise you're utilizing time that could be spent on other priorities in your coaching session.
mm,
But otherwise than that, like I said, you're very empathetic. You kind of go for a more holistic route than a more focused route, which I guess kind of speaks back to your psychologist kind of background and trying to find that deep dive of like the person rather than necessarily like what their symptom is at the moment. But as coaches, we're trying to figure out the symptoms at the moment. Our goal, our coaches come in with a problem. We have to put them on the right track for that problem.
yeah,
Any future problems can be discussed in a later meeting, and that's where you should park those. But you should always focus on what you're doing at the moment with that
yeah.
coach.
Yeah, one thing I realized that I didn't ask that I really should have asked is like, what does your ideal apartment look like, for like visualization? Like, tell me about how you want to live. Like, what's the nicest, like, what's the, ideal way you'd want your apartment to be? I think that would have been a good question too.
Yeah, but otherwise, all good, all good.
Alrighty, thanks. Great.